India plane crash is a major disaster. An Air India express plane trying to land at a tricky hilltop airport in southern India overshot the runway, crashed over a cliff, and burst into flames at dawn Saturday, taking some 158 people, officials said. May the Lord rest their souls. There were 8 survivors. Dense black smoke billowed from the wreckage of the flaming Boeing 737-800 aircraft in a rugged area with thick grass and trees. Firefighters sprayed water and foam on the plane, which was traveling from Dubai, as others struggled to find survivors. An Associated Press photo showed 2 rescuers running up a hill, carrying a young girl covered in foam to waiting medics. The plane was carrying 160 passengers, all Indian, and 6 crew members. The British pilot and Indian co-pilot were among the dead. Workers pulled scores of burned bodies from the blackened tangle of aircraft cables, twisted metal, charred trees, and mud at the crash site. Many of the dead were strapped into their seats, their bodies burned beyond recognition. Major calamity. Relatives of the victims, who had come to the airport to meet them, stood near the wreckage weeping. This is a major calamity, said the Home Minister. However, there were also extraordinary stories of survival. More miracles. We had no hope to survive, but we survived, said a passenger on the plane, who is an Indian technician working in Dubai. The plane broke into 2, and we jumped off the plane. As soon as the plane landed, within seconds, this happened. The plane had a small fire at first, but then a large explosion set off a bigger blaze, he said. While landing at the airport, the plane deviated and hit something, said another survivor. It caught fire and we fell out. We looked up and saw some opening and came out through that way. Another survivor, who suffered burns on his face and hands, said it felt like a tire burst after the plane landed. There was a loud bang and the plane caught fire, he said. The crash took place about 6 a.m. Pre-monsoon rains over the past 2 days caused low visibility in the area, officials said. Officials differed on whether it was raining at the time of the crash. Scores of villagers scrambled over the hilly terrain to reach the wreckage and began aiding in the rescue operation. The flight had already landed. There was a little rain. The flight skidded off, one eyewitness told TV reporters, according to the Times of India. After that, it caught fire. Villagers, everyone there, came to rescue. By Saturday afternoon, rescuers had pulled 146 bodies from the wreckage. The 8 rescued passengers were being treated in local hospitals, the airline said. Indian officials said that conversations with the cockpit and other records showed the flight was operating normally before the touchdown. There was no distress indication from the pilot. That means between the pilot and the airport communication, there was no indication of any problems, said the Director of Airports Authority of India. Air India runs cheap flights under the Air India Express banner to Dubai and other Middle Eastern destinations, where millions of Indian workers are employed. The crash was the deadliest in India since the November 1996 mid-air collision between a Saudi airliner and a cargo plane near New Delhi that killed 349 people. The Mangalore airport's location on a plateau surrounded by hills made it difficult for the firefighters to reach the scene of the crash. Aviation experts said the airport's tabletop runway, which ends in a valley, makes a bad crash inevitable when a plane does not stop in time. If the pilot overshoots the runway, the aircraft will be in trouble, said an aviation expert. Accidents of this type, known as runway excursions, are fairly common, although the majority end without any injury or damage. The International Civil Aviation Organization and pilots groups have urged airports worldwide to construct 300-yard-long safety extensions at the end of each runway for extra protection. Older airports in built-up areas, or those in tight locations with little room for extensions, are advised to install soft ground layers, known as arrestor beds. 2. Slow planes, much as escape ramps on highways, can stop trucks when their brakes fail. The 8,000-foot Mangalore runway had a short spillover area of about 300 feet with a bed of sand designed to halt or slow a plane with overshoots, but obviously the aircraft was at a higher speed. More than 32,000 landings had been made on the runway since it opened in 2006. The crash came as a national carrier tries to weather serious financial difficulties. In February, the government approved a $173 million cash infusion for the airline, which has suffered decades of mismanagement and underinvestment. And all these disasters, these calamities, or catastrophes that are happening, they are showing the world what's wrong with things. Just like with the Gulf of Mexico oil spill, these disasters are man-made. And, again, they are indicative, or they are an indication of what's wrong with all these things. And again, these are more signs of the end times, transition days. Luke chapter 21, 35. For as a snare shall come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. 36. Watch ye therefore, and always pray, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that are coming to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And there are many different types of signs happening daily all around the world.